6 to 9 at
o'clock,
Westwoods.
Okay, that should do it then.
Before we
Anything
adjourn,
else?
can I bring up 2 points real quick?
Okay.
I had a meeting with Randy Sharp yesterday, Chardon planning gentleman, on the bike trail that he got approved through NOACA,
Yeah.
okay? That he approved without any coordination with the county, under our nickel. So they pay no fees, and yet they get to submit projects without coordination, or without understanding, or without oversight, or without engineering. The cost of this project for 1.3 miles of bike trail is $651,500, which comes out of our road monies. So instead of fixing roads, potholes, bridges, crumbling roads, we're putting $651,000 into a bike trail. This is part of a project which also involves the parks. I don't have their project cost yet, but if you compare the cost of this bike trail per mile, the benefit to the community, I mean, in other words, those folks who are going to benefit, an extremely small minority, you have to ask the question from a priority standpoint, is this fiscally responsible?
Skip?
What's that?
Did the council have to take some action to ask for this money?
Oh, yeah.
I don't believe they did. Well, the NOACA did.
No,
No,
the
the
Chardon City
Chardon
Council.
Council.
Chardon Council would have had to.
I'm sure they probably did in some way,
support it.
shape, or form, but they're not asking the questions, and this is under the county's nickel. And we're providing no engineering, no oversight. We have no way of knowing whether this is a cost-effective, if it is engineered properly,
Yeah,
and yet it's
that's-
under the county.
That's
nickel.
concerning. I mean, how did they get, here's my gripe with that. And that, we have Newcomb Road that's basically saying that we can't get a road in there. How is that they're able to get a bike path? Meantime, you've got all these people. I mean, how are they able to pull this
Are
through?
they getting that? I thought that they got 60,000 for the planning.
There's $521,000 that's coming through a transportation enhancement fund.
I'm pretty
which
sure
is
this was
NOACA.
done with the input from the Chardon Council.
Oh, it had to be.
Well, probably
They had
so.
to.
I'm absolutely certain
Yeah.
probably was.
Well, I
But
mean,
the
that would be a
question-
good questions
Let's
asked
follow
there,
it
how
through
did
and
this?
find
Well, no,
out.
but the question is to the county commissioner. This is on the county commissioner's nickel. We spend the, whatever it is, $36,000 or whatever for the NOACA fee. This is in the county. This is a county-wide thing because we have multiple bike trails. And so as a citizen, I'm concerned that my money is going to a recreational activity over a road, over a bridge that's
Right,
crumbling.
I'm with you 100%.
And so I'm very concerned that we got fiscally responsible elected officials that are considering the implication of their decisions.
Well,
They're
what did
not
the mayor
asking
say
questions.
when you talked to him?
What's that?
What did the mayor say when you talked to him?
I didn't talk to the mayor, I talked to Randy Sharp. He's the
City,
county.
he's
Or
the city
he's-
manager.
he's
Yeah,
the city
but
planner.
he does what the council.
The
does.
council,
No,
you
the council
know,
is
I
involved.
mean, holding people accountable, absolutely, but go look at what the
Council
record is
had-
and what
would
the
have
council
to
did as
support.
far as their
Well,
part.
I don't live in Chardon, but I do live in Geauga County. And so since I can bring it to the county commissioners, I plan on going and talking to Nancy and some other folks. I
Right.
started with Randy yesterday to get educated, because I didn't know anything about this. And so this is one of multiple concerns that I have that the county should be, I mean, in this case, I think all projects, since it's on our nickel,
Should
should
come through the
flow
engineer.
through the county engineer, so at least we have the ability to look at it,
Sure.
endorse it, not endorse it, whatever the case
I don't
happens to
think
be.
that's
Good
unreasonable.
question asked in the
Yeah.
And
lot,
so
why
that
does it work
includes
that
the
way?
parks, because
I
the
don't
park
know.
board has
I
the
think-
authority,
I think
and
they
they've already
applied.
submitted for public dollars to do bike trails over roads.
Where is this, Skip?
This is going to,
Well, that's
the
in the
connector ends right here outside of town,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Goes through Chardon.
the bike trail,
You know,
and they're gonna take it down
so
through,
We might do our.
I'll give you a copy of this, Rob, you can see
Yeah.
their whole
we
plan
should
is right
take a
here.
walk.
It ends right by the highway patrol there, and then they wanna connect up at the south end of town.
Yeah, well, you know where they have the trail there by Bass Lake?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
that goes on to Middlefield?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been on that whole trail,
Yeah.
but so this is gonna go from the highway patrol to,
Connect
The
up the
Headwaters
south end
Park.
of town.
To
yeah.
Headwaters
The
Park.
overall, and I have an objection, because as I said in NOACA, the amount of money being put into bike trails, and what
That's
they're
a
doing.
big part of their agenda, is they want people riding bicycles.
Absolutely, well, and they refer to it as alternative transportation. It is not alternative transportation, it's
Three months out of the
recreational
year.
transportation. I mean, in the amount of people on the bike trails, if you go down here and look at how many people ride their bikes on this bike trail, any given Saturday or Sunday, is minuscule, and we're putting millions of dollars into
Do
it.
the roads before it
Oh,
leaves
yeah.
Malcolm Road.
Open
You're
up
right.
the horses.
Horses, I was
mean,
thinking
it
that.
would-
From
it would-
where at 1044 on
But
South
they
Street.
would have had to
over
apply
to
for that Skip.
Highway
The
patrol.
Oh, I'm
They-
sure they
they
did
made
apply
a
to it. I'm sure they did
separate-
apply to it.
yeah.
In some
Yeah,
places,
a lot
they
of
had
it's
a
using the
discussion
old
in the
railway
TAC meeting.
right away.
And
Understand,
then there's another section that, though, that's down farther, like over by, which would be off Ravenna, so I wonder if
Yeah.
that's what connects over here, but then
Oh, I
this
I
is
don't
the
know how
section
they're
I
gonna
think that's
connect
missing.
through Chardon though, I mean, how are they gonna do that?
I
Well,
think
the whole
it's
map
supposed
is
to go
in here.
through
There's
the
a whole
old
thing that's in here.
railroad.
Yeah.
Can you give
Oh,
me a
you
copy
mean,
of
I
that?
get
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Cause it ends right now, I believe.
That is one of a smaller, or small indication of a bigger issue in NOACA. Here's the board report from NEOACC, thanks to Diana Tom. NEOACC, being a nonprofit, is not obligated to share any information that they're collecting. How do we know what they're collecting? How do we know that the data is good? How do we know that the methodology is good? And they will not share this information. I've made public information requests to them. They won't share information.
Why is that?
We as a because they're choosing not to, because they don't want to show the data. That makes me very, very suspicious about what they're up to. So I'm going to reinforce my comment. We need to raise a stink about any, from my perspective, need to raise a stink about NEOCC because this will impact us. Make no mistake about it. Where they are going, what their agenda is very, very clear. And I got a lot of data to indicate that. I'd like to present to the board on what I'm finding and let the board publicly state, those 44 members sitting around that table, publicly state where they stand so the citizens can tell where the board stands. They need to be outed in terms of what they're trying to accomplish. And so if the citizens endorse this, fine. But the citizens are not aware of this. They have no clue what these guys are doing. They're not sharing anything. They're spending a lot of our tax dollars to do this stuff. It is an agenda-driven program. If we want to have a regional study, then the community should get together and do a regional study. Geauga County, Geauga County, we can get our public officials together.
Well, I don't think we wanna be connected to, I think we just wanna do our own.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If elected officials
I don't think we wanna do
who are elected by us to do a regional study wanted to get together and compare notes, how to collaborate, yada, yada,
that.
yada.
Yeah.
I may not like it, but
Well,
that,
did the
that's
Park
okay.
District, are they, how are they involved with the Maple Highland? I thought that was their deal,
Say this again?
the Maple Highland Trail. I thought that was the Park District. Are
It's
they in
partially Park
collusion
District.
with the Park District?
There's an agenda, and this comes back to, and I even hate to use this term, this comes back to sustainable development, otherwise known as Agenda 21.
Yeah, right.
There's an attempt right now to create a corridor between various parks for the movement of animals, okay, for wildlife movement.
Oh, they're not gonna bring
And
animals.
so they're using these corridors, bike trails, as a mechanism to create these corridors between various parks. Look at what the connectivity is between these parks. I mean, it's a multi-fold kind of an agenda that they're shooting for. But I mean, it's clear, it's documented. We talk about it, but nobody really wants to look too much into the detail. My bigger question right now is the amount of money we're spending on this stuff. Well, we could be fixing our roads. I mean, we go to the NOACA meetings, we hear them whining and crying. Now we gotta put a bond on our interstate after they broke the promise and said, well, we could do away with the tolls after we paid for it.
Oh, no.
Now they wanna put a
Yeah,
bond
more
on it. Why are they
tolls.
putting a bond on it? Because we're wasting money on these
Yeah.
sorts of things and beautification projects. And so that is the bigger concern that I've got right now, is that these things, and people don't know about it, and our elected officials who we elect to watch out for us, to protect our money, are not doing their jobs. We should be asking these questions. I shouldn't have to ask the question. I'm not in all the meetings. I've attended a lot of them, that's the reason that I'm here. Our elected officials should be holding these people accountable. We are not.
Park District.
We are not holding any OCC accountable. We're not asking those questions in NOACA because we have, and I hate to say this, and I, with all due respect, we have cowards sitting in those NOACA meetings who are afraid to ask these questions. And I'm, for one, I'm getting upset about that.
Okay,
I just called, by the way, how many of you know about prevailing wage rates?
I know about